How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today we're gonna find out if $30 can change your driving experience. Fun fact, the answer is yes. Now today's video is going to be focusing on really cheap mods that you can do at home. Actually, one in particular. If you guys want to know more cheap mods that you can do at home, then you can click the link below to my column on Wheelwell. Wheelwell is an app and a website, and it's not just a virtual garage, even though it is that. It's also a way where you can track how much money you spend on the car. So this car, it only cost me $1,000, but I spent a little bit more money getting some parts that it needed, and also the modifications moving forward. So you guys can track my build, actually track all my builds on my Wheelwell page. That will be in the description. You can DM me on Wheelwell, and you can ask me anything you want, except when these cars will be done, because let's be honest, I have no idea. So let's begin. This is the shifter assembly, and it's actually closer to the shifter assembly in something like a Honda Civic or something front-wheel drive than it is to anything rear-wheel drive. The reason is, rear-wheel drive cars usually have their transmissions in the middle, and the shifter itself is connected, bolted straight to the transmission. So shifter linkages for rear-wheel drive cars are a little bit different in that they're basically just a rod that goes into the transmission. But on a front-wheel drive car, since the entire engine and transmission assembly is in the front, there has to be a linkage, a mechanical, physical link between the shifter and the engine. So what this car has is the engine behind me. So it's basically a front-wheel drive layout in the back. So try to visualize that. But it's basically the same sort of shifter linkage. There's two little levers here, two linkages, and they do various things. One controls lateral movement and one controls, what's the opposite of lateral movement? The up and down one? Yeah, you guys can tell me in the comments. But that translates into the 5 forward gears, I believe that's 5, and the 1 reverse gear. And for the most part, this has been working fine, but when I got the car, it was really hard to put it in reverse, and when I had the car in third and also in first, if I kind of gave it a little bit more oomph, it would hit the shifter trim. Now, I know that my bushings probably are shot. It's a very old car, and I have no idea how much it's been beaten on. I'm gonna guess a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace this with a short shifter kit that I got on eBay for 30 bucks. Now, what it's gonna do is, first of all, it's gonna make it easier for me to get into reverse, because reverse is just gonna be less of a throw. I can have, it's gonna be more accessible to me just on a physical standpoint, but also it's gonna make it more, make the car more sporty. Unfortunately, the car isn't in driving condition, because if you saw my last video, I have basically no coolant in the entire system, and also I need to figure out why there's gas in my oil. But just for the sake of this video, let's pretend like the car's working, just so you guys can see what the modification process is like. So here, I've already taken apart the center console, and that is actually pretty easy. There's only 2 bolts right here and 1 bolt on either side here, and the whole thing comes out. The shifter trim all comes out. It's with clips, and the shift knob itself, it just unscrews. So right here we have a naked shifter assembly, and I'm just gonna take off these 12mm bolts, and I think we should be good to go, and we'll take off the shifter linkage on the underside. I honestly haven't done this before, and I haven't looked up any how-tos, but I think we can figure it out. I think I'm perfectly capable of doing this, so let's get to work. So that was actually pretty quick. Here is the stock shifter assembly. This is the shifter rod, and you can see that it's a cup and ball, and it's surrounded by grease right here. The grease is actually pretty past it, so I'm going to be replacing that and cleaning it up, re-greasing it. And there's also a cup and ball right here. This is for the, I guess, the lateral movement, or actually don't know what the orientation of this is, but bear with me. So this is the stock shifter, and this has quite long throws. especially for something that's supposed to be a sports car. But this is our replacement unit. Now, right here, you can see that it is not only physically smaller, but the fulcrum point is different. So you see that it spaces it out. It spaces out where the bolts line up, and that is meant to make it a smaller distance. There's also a spacer right here. It's a little anodized aluminum spacer that I put underneath the shifter housing, and just fasten it with bolts like normal, and that should be it. I should have a lot thrower. I should have a lot shorter shifts with this, but yeah, this is actually a really cheap and easy mod to do. So let's get this on there. All right, so we are done. It is looking really good, and it's actually feeling a lot better than it was. The throws are a lot shorter, and it's not really feeling too notchy. I was a little bit concerned that it would be super notchy, but it feels very good. It feels very taut. The only problem that I'm having, and this isn't going to be a problem with your cars necessarily, but with this car, I think this linkage, the one that controls the forward and back movement, I think that one is a little bit stretched out. I'm looking at the linkage, and it just looks loose. It doesn't look like it's, yeah, I mean, there's portions of it that are supposed to be tight, and they just aren't. And that means that I still have that problem that I'm basically bashing into the front of the shifter linkage right here. You can hear that if I try to go into third. But I mean, second, fourth, and also reverse, super easy now to get into. Before it would take a few times to get into reverse, but now it's just really smooth like butter. But I will have to replace this shifter linkage. Yeah, in any case, I don't think that that's going to be too much of a problem. It just is basically a bike cable going from here back to the transmission. But yeah, that is a really good mod for $30. All right, so that is it. That was quick, simple, and cheap. So you guys can transform your cars, granted, if it has the same sort of shifter linkage assembly that the MR2 does, which is more likely a front-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive car. They also have that sort of shifter assembly. But 30 bucks gets you a lot of performance mod value. So what I'm gonna do in the next episodes of the MR2 build is I'm going to do a basically a spruce up of the entire system and make sure that it's roadworthy, and then take it on a test drive. And that should be really interesting, and that's gonna be coming up. It's not gonna be coming up in the next week or so, because right now you guys are watching this, but I am on vacation. So as soon as I come back, it's gonna be full steam ahead on all of my projects. If you like this video, and I really hope you did, consider subscribing to my channel. That would really help me out and get the word out that I love doing stuff like this, especially when it takes not too much time at all and doesn't put a hole in your bank account. If you guys wanna contact me, you can contact me by DMing me on Wheelwell, and you guys have been posing a lot of really good questions. I've been having a lot of really good conversations with you guys, and I enjoy the encouragement, and the people who offer some criticism, I enjoy that as well. So yeah, hit me up there. But until next time, this is me telling you that even on cars like my $1,000 piece of junk MR2 that need a lot of work but are coming together slowly but surely, you guys need to wrench every day.